hope that you have your mat out. What we would like to do with this series, or throughout our challenge, is to have Fridays dedicated to a calming down, a stretching, a mobility, kind of rehabilitation-ish kind of work and movement, and I hope that's what we find as we continue through this program and through this process together and through this challenge. We're working on a healthier you and a healthier all of us, and it begins internally. You know, we focus on what do we want, what are we looking forward to, what are our goals and our achievements, and we set those goals, but we also give them space, and we can nourish them through doing this as well. So just as much as it is our portion sizing or our exercising when it comes to weight loss, it also very much incorporates movement, mobility, and function, and I'm hoping that by including this in your week, you will also find a little bit more of an uplift and an improvement in just the way that you function and move throughout your daily life. And I also want to use this time to reiterate that exercise and movement should not be a punishment for what you eat. It's more a celebration of what you can do. We exercise to strengthen our muscles, to find flexibility and mobility. So as we approach these things, let's do it mindfully, in that we are working towards improving our daily function, our daily life, and it's not a punishment for what we might have eaten, because we there's no reason to be punished for it. And with that in mind, let's enter a space. If we have our mats, set them out. We'll just find a nice comfy seat. What I'm going to call, what is called easy seat, and I will refer to it as easy seat, is just a gentle seated position on the floor where you're comfortable. That could be legs crossed, tucked in tight towards your hips, so you can find maybe your feet come out a little bit more. You might like to sit with your soles of your feet together. Wherever it feels comfortable for you, you might find that you like to stack. Wherever, we just want to be easy. It's a seat, it's easy, it's gentle. And as we're seated, our hands will just come to rest, palm up, palm down. Again, this is a comfortable position for you to be seated in. The only thing that we do want to focus on and that we ask for is that we open up our chest, our shoulders draw back, and our heart begins to lift. And we open it up, and it increases our posture, it builds our posture, and we can find that we can even just balance. Our bone structure will hold us here, in that we have our shoulders placed over our hips, and we're sitting on it kind of feels like two little buttons in our bottom. We call those our sit bones. And we find a nice comfy seat. We might even adjust and find movement to kind of root ourselves down, and we settle here. And with that chest open and the heart lifted, we let the crown of our head reach towards the ceiling. So we're sitting up nice and tall, open wide, but again, our hands are easy, we're comfortable, our breath is relaxed. And now you might find that with your mouth closed, and you take an inhale through your nose, and we're going to exhale through our nose as well, that your tongue is at the roof of your mouth. What I'd like you to do now is, if you find that, just release it down to the lower portion of your mouth, and let your tongue rest behind your bottom teeth. Let's take 3 or 4 breaths here, in through our nose and out through our nose, relaxing the jaw and letting the tongue drop. We might even close our eyes to help internalize the sensation and focus a little bit more deeply. And as the weeks progress on as well, we're going to focus a bit more on our breath and creating a deep belly breath. this relaxed state, let's begin to move. First by dropping our right ear to our right shoulder and just letting gravity drop it down. Our breaths remain steady, nice and steady. We might find that we can inhale for a count of 4 and exhale for a count of 4, or it might be longer. Our head will now come back to the center and we'll let it fall to the left. Just be in this space, nice and gentle, easy, releasing. In our seat, we might find as we sit here, releasing in the hips, as much as we feel a releasing in the neck. Bringing the head back to center, dropping it once again to the right. Now this time we're going to take the right hand, dropping it down to the floor, and then scooping up and over. We'll bring the right hand to the left ear, and bring maybe a gentle pressure. Leaving the head where it is, take the hand and we'll drop it down to the right cheek. The head will fall heavy into the hand, and it's the strength of the hand that brings the head back to center. Releasing down to easy seat, and now the second side. We drop the ear to the shoulder. Our hand will drop down to the floor and then scoop up and over to the opposite ear, drawing it down in a gentle pressure. As we move today, we never want to be in a pinch or a pain. Back out of the posture. If you feel these, the head stays where it is and the hand comes down to the cheek. The head will fall heavy into the hand, and it's the strength of the hand that pushes the head back to center, and we can release back into easy seat. Rolling the neck now, we'll start on one side and release ear to shoulder, letting the head fall back, chin to ceiling, ear to shoulder, and then the head will fall forward, chin to chest. Continue in a full circle, very slowly. While we move, the shoulders will remain down. It's our ear that comes to the shoulder instead of the shoulder to the ear. After our next full revolution, we will stop and reverse the direction. Again, we're moving very slowly. Inhaling as the ear comes to the shoulder, exhaling as it drops forward or backwards. Inhaling to the shoulder and then exhaling either down or up in whatever phase you're in. Coming to rest in the center, we bring the head back to neutral at the center, and now the shoulders will come up to meet the ears. We'll draw the shoulders up and then release them back So with me, we inhale the shoulders up, and we'll exhale the shoulders back and down. Inhale up, exhale back and down. I'd like you to continue in your breath, staying with the movement of your breath, movement of your body simultaneously. Holding at the bottom to keep the shoulder blades down and the chest open. The right hand will come behind us, behind our hip. Left hand to the right knee for a gentle twist. We find a gentle pressure on the knee and the palm, and we twist towards the right side, looking over the right shoulder. Release your twist and come back to easy seat. Opposite side, we're going to send the left hand behind us, right hand outside of the knee, and we pull with the hand to increase the twist as we look to the left over the left shoulder. Still sitting up tall, maintaining that posture. Release to easy seat, coming back to center. Inhale, our arms come up. Grasping the right wrist with the left hand, we'll tilt to the left, keeping both hips on the floor. Chest stays open. Release back to arms up. Grasping the opposite side, the right hand reaches for the left wrist as we tilt to the right side. Hips stay planted on the floor, chest stays open. Releasing in both arms, reaching high. We look up between the hands, palms together. We'll draw the hands down, thumbs come to the sternum. We call this also heart center. Now moving with our breath, we'll inhale, sending the arms up. Exhale, turn the palms out, pushing down, exhale. And then we'll circle the hands back in prayer, thumbs to sternum, and repeat. Inhale, up. Exhale, open and down. Palms come together. Inhale, up. Exhale, down and together. Inhale, sending them up. And for the same length of breath, we want to move the hands down and together on the same exhale. And then on the inhale, it comes up once more. Holding the hands at heart center, thumbs to the sternum, palms together. We're going to reverse the motion, and so now we will inhale Down and up, inhale. Palms together, exhale, we draw the hands down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Continue. Holding here now, palms will stay together, thumbs at the sternum at heart center. Releasing now, we'll come down, hands on the mat, rock forward. We'll come into tabletop, we're coming into child's pose first. And that means that we're gonna come down to the tops of the feet. Knees are about as wide as the mat. Sinking our hips back down to our heels. We want them to stay right there with the heels. Our big toes touch. Hands will come forward and we sink the chest down to the mat as far as our body allows. And we might find that some days they reach down further than others, and that is perfectly beautiful because every day is different and every body is different, and we work where we are. So wherever we are, we let the chest just sink down, and if we can go down, if our body allows us far enough, we can bring our forehead to the mat, or we can go so far as to bring our chin to the mat. Pressing down with the arms and back through the hips. Child's pose is an active pose. We're not just lying here. Coming out of child's pose, now we'll come into tabletop. Hands will come under the shoulders, knees will set under the hips, and take your time, find your placement. Tops of the feet will be on the mat. Moving into a bird dog, and we're gonna hold the posture, hold the pose, sending back the right foot. We're gonna flex the foot, toes pointing down, hips square to the floor. Pressing also down in the left top of the foot into the mat. And then the left arm extends forward. And we hold here. Continue our breathing, trying to draw that arm up, bringing the bicep close to the ear. Heel reaches back behind you, and the fingertips will spread as they reach forward. Drawing the knee to the elbow, rounding the back. We touch the two. And then send them out again. Right leg long, left arm stretched in front, reaching. Knee will now come in to touch elbow once again, rounding the back. And then release back to tabletop. Second side, left leg long behind us, foot flexed, toes to the floor, heel reaching for the wall behind us. Right arm extends forward and up. We want to the ear near the bicep. Hold here. Continue breathing, nice and sturdy. Elbow comes in to meet the knee, rounding the upper back. They touch and hold.
And then really sending them back to where they were, long in either direction. Knee and elbow come in as we round the upper back. And release the hand and the knee to the floor. Back into tabletop. Moving now to cat and cow. We round the upper back on an exhale. And on an inhale, we let the belly fall to the floor. Chest will open, heart towards the front of the room or the ceiling, wherever you're pointed. Looking up. And then we transition into the cat on an exhale. The upper back rounds. We tuck the pelvis in. And then we inhale, letting it drop, opening the chest, looking upward. And then we release and transition back into cat once more. And continue with your breath. We'll stay here for a few more. Coming back to neutral. Onto our toes. Let's walk the hands about a palm's width in front of us, or hand's length in front of us. On our toes, we send the hips back into downward facing dog. Our goal here is a neutral spine. So we will have bent knees, if that means we have a neutral spine, a straight back. We might find ourselves high on our tippy toes, or we can begin to release the heels down to the floor. In our first down dog, let's walk the knees, stretching out the calves. Begin to walk towards the front of your mat, feet between your hands, and slowly, one vertebra at a time, we stand up. Standing tall into mountain pose, we stack the hips over the ankles, shoulders over the hips, palms face forward, big toes together. Bringing hands together, heart centered. We inhale up, slightly bending back, volcano pose. Exhale, we swan dive down, hands by our feet, forward fold. Halfway lift. Left leg will step back. Lunge, we hold here. Stepping back now with the right into plank. Knees will release. Hips will stay up as the chest and chin come to the floor. Dropping the tops of the feet to the mat, we scoot ourselves forward, baby cobra. Releasing down to the floor, the hips can come back. We push back into downward facing dog. Left leg now steps forward, high lunge. Right leg comes forward, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, the arms will reach up. Slight back bend, volcano. Drawing the hands down. On an inhale, we send the hands up. Exhale, forward fold, swan dive down. Halfway lift. Right leg steps back. Half lunge. We send back the left, plank. Knees, chest, chin. Tops of the feet come to the mat as we squeeze forward, baby cobra. Releasing down to the floor, hips come back, tuck the toes. Now the hips up, downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, high lunge. Left leg comes up to meet it, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle arms up. Slight back bend, volcano. Hands down to heart center. And release to mountain pose. Turning our feet, we take a wide step, stand wide on the mat. Hands on our hips, feet pointed forward. Sinking the hips back, wide leg, forward fold. Releasing the hands down to the mat, we can increase the fold. And feel free to play around in each posture as well. If you feel that you find movement, you can come in and out. Sway side to side. Hands on our hips. We bring with a flat back up to standing, wide leg. Let's heel toe in slightly if we went pretty wide with that fold, and we'll come to star. Arms out long, wide leg. 5-pointed star. Shifting the weight onto the left foot, we come into a balancing star. Balancing on the left foot. Letting that bottom foot wiggle as the stabilizers engage. Releasing the foot down. Hands to hips. Forward fold once again. We sink the hips back. Hinging forward, hands down. We find our fold. Bring our hands to our hips, look forward as we come back to standing. Star. There's a slight tuck in the pelvis forward. Shoulder blades are back. Reaching in both directions with the arms. And now we'll shift our weight to the right as we find balancing star on our right side. Our foot is flexed. Chest is open. Stabilizers are engaging. Slowly releasing the foot down, we return to star. Hands come to hips. Heel toe together. Let's return to the top of the mat. Standing in mountain pose, front toes come together, big toes come together. find a sturdy base in that our hips are over our ankles, shoulders over our hips, shoulders are back, tall and proud like a mountain. Taking a long step back, hinging forward so that our fingertips come to the floor. We'll bend the front knee. We might even wiggle that back leg a little bit further back, finding a high lunge. Our knee will stay stacked over top of our ankle, looking forward and sinking the hips down. The right heel trying to push down towards the floor, but we're up on our toes. Squeezing our right thigh and our left glute, our left butt. We're going to bring ourselves up high with this high lunge. Looking up between the hands, we could bring the palms together. Releasing down, releasing the hands down, knee stays bent. We're gonna release the back foot now so that the heel does come down to the floor and our toes are at a 45-degree angle. Front foot is stays where it is and the knee is bent. As we come up, now warrior one. Very similar to what we just did. However, we are pushing now on the back corner, on the outside corner of the back foot. Hips are turned towards the front leg. And we stay with our breath. Releasing the hands to the hips. Straighten the front leg. And we're going to hinge and fold over the front leg. We can release the hands down to the floor, the fingertips touch the floor as we draw the forehead to the knee. Bending the front knee, we leave the back foot where it is and we return to warrior one, circling the arms up, palms together where they could be about a fist's width apart above you. Looking up, pushing out towards the outer edge of the back foot. Warrior one. Releasing the hands down by the front foot. We come up onto the back toes, looking forward and sinking the hips down. High lunge, and reaching up. Release the hands again, down by the foot. We're going to send the left foot back into plank, hips high into downward facing dog. Right knee now draws up towards the nose and step through. High lunge, second side. We let the hips sink, knee over ankle, looking forward. And we can stand up tall, reaching up with the hands. Release the hands down to your hips, and we're just going to twist our foot open from here, pushing into the outside corner of the back foot. Hips turn towards the front of the room. or the front of your mat. Sending the arms up, warrior one. Strong in the back leg. Straightening the front leg. Bring our hands to our hips. Back foot stays where it is. And we fold forward over the front leg. Our hands can stay on our hips, or we can bring the fingertips to the floor. Bending the front knee. Bending the front knee, we return to warrior one. And then we release the hands down, turning back up onto our toes on that back leg, sinking the hips down, high lunge. Reaching up overhead. Finding our balance. Hands come down to frame the foot. We send the right foot back into plank, and then we shift back into downward facing dog. Looking at your hands, we can walk the feet between the hands, one vertebra at a time. We'll roll up. Setting into mountain pose. Let's come down to the mat in a seat, and we're going to send the legs out long. Staff pose with the feet long, toes pointed up, foot flexed, hands by your hips, finding our posture, sitting tall, chest open, staff. Right leg, we're going to bring up and to the outside of the left. Reaching across, we bring our forearm to the thigh, right arm behind us, finding a twist. Release the twist, coming back into staff pose, hands by the hips, legs long, feet flexed. Second side, we draw up the opposite foot now to the outside of the thigh. Left hand goes behind us as we reach to the outside of the thigh, and we twist in the opposite direction. Release the twist, back to staff pose. Send the legs out wide, your feet wider than the mat. Taking the right leg, we're going to bring it in first and tuck the sole of the foot into the thigh. Taking the body, positioning it over the left knee, we'll fold forward, bringing the head to the knee. This is also a great place where if you have straps, you would wrap a strap around the midline of the foot, and you could hold on to the strap, or it could just be a belt. If you don't have a yoga strap, would work very well to hold your position here. Sitting up, we'll release the right foot out wide. Left foot comes in, sole of the foot to the thigh. We position ourselves over the leg, and then we'll fold forward over it. You might find that one side is more flexible than the other. Just like we often find that one side is stronger than the other. Release the stretch and come back to staff pose. Sitting tall. And then we'll scoot ourselves forward on the mat, sole of the feet to the floor. Slowly release ourselves down into a reclining position. Feet go wide, wider than the mat. With head down, we're gonna let the knees fall to the left, bringing them up. Let the knees fall to the right. Windshield wipering to each side, slow and steady, and at your own pace. Moving with your breath. Holding at the top, bringing the feet flat onto the mat. Arms will go out wide into a T, and then we'll let the knees fall together to the right side, making sure that our left shoulder stays down towards the floor. Our right hand can come on top of the knee, and then we'll look over the long left hand. And again, feel free to play here to find the stretch that's for you. Releasing the leg, arms go out wide. We'll bring the feet back to the mat, the soles of the feet to the mat, and then we'll release them, both knees together, down to the left side. Left hand comes to the top knee as we glance over the right arm. Returning the soles of the feet to the mat. Extend the left leg long. Right knee we're going to grasp on the outside of the shin. Draw the knee in, trying to tuck it into our armpit. Breathe here. Release both feet to the mat. Right leg long, left leg. Now we reach for the outside of the shin, drawing the knee towards the armpit. Release both feet to the mat And now both knees come up and give them both a hug. These poses might stimulate flatulence, which is good and natural. Releasing the legs, sending them both out long and wide to the edges of the mat. We'll let the hands fall down outside of the body, on the outside edges of the mat. Close your eyes. Releasing into corpse pose, also known as Savasana. We intentionally release our muscles. We relax our body. We let go of our breath. We let go of any thoughts that are moving through our minds. Let them blow through. And we are only here now in this space at this moment of time. Slowly bring awareness back to your breath, to the space around you. Drawing up our legs. We'll let them fall to the left side as we roll towards the left in preparation for sitting up. And as you're ready, press up, return to a seat. Thank you for joining me in this. I appreciate everything you're doing, and I appreciate you. Thank you.